What's going on, everybody? It's Ron Brown, LMT, the People's Fitness Professional, alongside my co-host. I don't know where he is. He says his Wi-Fi is acting up. Mine was acting up. I don't know what's going on right now. We just had a powerful interview. I don't know. Energies. I don't know. Who knows? Yo, let's go straight into it with the God, Supreme Ruler, God Allah. Do I say God Allah, or I'm just gonna go Allah,
You can
Supreme?
say Supreme Ruler God Allah, it's peace.
That's
Either
peace.
or.
That's
You know
peace.
what I mean? Allah
That's
is the family name, so it's really like you know, that's all right. You
indeed.
know.
So God, I want to set it off with first of all, how you doing today? Is your degree day?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm feeling good. I'm around some brothers right now. I got some guards around me. You know what I'm saying? A couple guards left to get some stuff from the store. I got guards around me, so I'm good. I'm feeling great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's important to keep Israelites around you. That's for
You know
sure.
that. You know that.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Especially right now in these times. These times are trying times right now. But
In-
yeah.
Indeed, God. So I want you to give people a little bit about your history and explain who you are, where you come from. Pardon me, where you come from, and how you got knowledge of self, what year, all that. Just an introduction for the people.
Okay, well, peace. My name's Supreme Ruler God Lord. That's my righteous name. That's the name that I manifested in the year 1997. That's when I got knowledge. We say born God. That's when I was born into the reality of God. And I was 15 years old at the time. At the time, I didn't know that the knowledge was, all over. I was born and raised in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And then the way how I got the knowledge, it was more born master at the time, brothers Black Medina, um, where we were all get together. There was a lot of brothers that in Boston where it was like you got it from one brother, you got it from this brother, you got it from that brother, and we pretty much all knew each other. So we were saying that was really the root, even though I physically, you know what I'm saying, came out of Cambridge, and my educator, the one who handed me with mathematics, he was in Cambridge. And then eventually I started, walking with other brothers. I always seen it as my mathematics attracted me to the brothers I needed to meet along the way. Um, yeah, and I got 120 in 1998. That's when I knew 120 degrees. And it would have took me shorty. Brothers, back in the day, there was a degree a day takes the devil away. So it was more a degree a day, 120 degrees, 4 months. Yet, there was other factors going on. So I got mine in 1998, you know what I mean, respectively and earnestly. So, yeah, that's my history, you know.
Okay. So who was your enlightener?
My enlightener, the one who gave me mathematics, his name is Bourne, Bourne WGLR. You know what I mean? Bourne Wise got a law.
Born
Yeah.
wise God Allah. What's his history? Is he from Medina, Mecca, the desert,
Well,
oasis?
he's from Cambridge too. At the same time, like it was all Boston based because of the fact on how the knowledge came. We always going to Boston. So when he taught us, a few of us, he taught a group of us in Cambridge. We were always traveling. He taught us that, like that's what that phrase "universal builder" is a big thing because it was like he taught us to be universal builders, meaning we can go anywhere and be peaceful with everybody and really be adding on and building. So like he instilled that. That was one of the things that he instilled. He would say, and I was just telling somebody yesterday, he was saying that he would say, yo, if you meet somebody at a rally and they peace, get their mathematics. And I remember that's one thing that helped me because the mathematics is the connection. Before we even pick up the phone to dial, the frequency to call somebody is there. So the connection is saying, yo, you meet somebody peace, get their mathematics. Is like that in itself is an equation. I just went with it and was like, okay, because peace, knowledge, knowledge. Okay, yeah, knowledge is knowledge. Boom, okay. That's how that went. Um, and yeah, so say the question again.
So I was saying, who was your enlightener? And you explained that, and you said he come from Boston, Mass, right?
Yep.
Now I want to know like the root, like so where did his root come from? Does it come from Medina? Does it come from Mecca? Does it come from the Oasis, Savior's Island, um, uh, um, Mecca? I said Mecca already, or Pelon.
That's a good one. I would say so the brother he got it from, got it from brothers that was from Queens, and brothers that was in Pelon, and brothers that was in Brooklyn. But here's how it go. So the mathematics that I got, my knowledge degree says knowledge is to know, look, listen, learn, respect, and observe. It is a foundation to all things that exist, such as the man is a foundation to the family and the sun is to the solar system. Peace. Now, I find that a lot of brothers in Medina have something that's similar, and some brothers that in Medina, and some brothers that was in that are here from Queens, that came from Queens, firstborns that came to Boston, that came from Queens, because that's how there was a group that came from Queens to Boston, and they remained here, and then they taught brothers, and this is how you have us because of the brothers who they taught us. This is like around like the 90s. So this is after that whole into deep movement, after that history came and all that confliction came. That was like the revival after that. You know what I mean? So it was more or less like everybody was just all just, it was like a melting pot. Everybody was just going to it. So I found that in our alphabet, our supreme alphabet come from Queens. So now uh when I look at the history on where he got it from, when I go back, brothers go back to Queens, right? And then when you go further back, it go back to brothers who was in Queens who brought the knowledge to Queens. And this is how I can see certain guards that was out here in Boston that introduced me to brothers. But they didn't say it like I'm gonna introduce you because this is some part of your history somehow. This goes back to we all connected. A lot of it, when it comes to Medina, Pilona, a lot of it really is we all connected because that's how it really went down. A lot of brothers was traveling. But if you want to be specific and distinct, it's where you get the root, then we can say the brothers who was in Queens, there was a few brothers in Queens. It all depends on how far you want to go back. If you want to go far back with the father in them, so we
Wait,
can go.
pardon me, your mic is sound
Can you hear
muffled.
me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Yeah.
Peace. If you want to go back to where the father in them, how the knowledge got to Queens, then you can deal with, Uhuru. You know what I'm saying? Firstborn Uhuru, you know what I'm saying? You could deal with Allah Real, uh, and brothers that, they was teaching and stuff like that. But then you had other brothers that came in Queens after that, some brothers that surround and their names might not want to be, what I'm saying, out there, or whatever the case may be. Or they just may, reveal themselves when it in due time. Yet yeah, that's what it'll be. It would be like, so then it would go back to Mecca like that, but it'll go back to Queens, and brothers from Mecca was going to Queens. Um, there was brothers that was responsible for certain brothers, and they was doing it like that. Um, my educator got the 12 Jews from one of the firstborn Yahuru's sons. You know what I'm saying? So some brothers like, oh, 12 Jews this, 12 Jews that. No, listen. The 12 Jews got knowledge first, then wisdom. That's God. Wisdom and knowledge, that's something else. But knowledge first, then wisdom. So my educator got the 12 Jews from um Yahuru's 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 son. So so once again, when it comes to connection, there's a lot of history like that. And then there was other brothers that was around the father. So there's an automatic connection right there because of the fact on the kind of things that they was teaching. And the level that they was teaching to make sure that it was there. That's a teaching to draw out something that's hidden and to make sure that it sticks with that person and get to that student's heart. And some brothers know how to get to my heart. The brother that first gave me mathematics, you know how to get to my mind and heart. Other brothers I walk with the father, you know how to get to my mind and heart. So that's the connection right there. You know what I mean? So
It's interesting that you say mind and heart. So, what would you say is the difference between the mind and the heart? Are you saying the mind and emotion, or are you talking about the physical heart?
uh well, I mean, that can be like an abstract question because that could be kind of like a little bit of both. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, um, everything has a function, and when you're dealing with certain things, especially dealing with knowledge, it's not just about what you know; it's the frequency, it's the energy that's applied to it. So, like, you have certain things like if you don't feed your brain right, people start acting a certain way, but they may not really relate it to just the food. It's also the food for thought, is that, but it's also the food that they feed it. So when it comes to the mind and heart, you know, I already thought about certain things, but as far as an emotion, putting the energy before the motion, the mind before the matter, That's what was more. That's why I say it like that, because it has to be something that is a reality for me. You know what I'm saying? For me to be like, okay, well, this is what makes it. This is what makes it real, and that's what it is. Because the fact of other than that, a person would get knowledge and be angry with it. But the more knowledge I learned, the more I understood people. The more I said, man, I don't hate white people. Before I got knowledge, it's like, oh man, he did this to what? But, you know. But the more I got knowledge, so I know that that's a real thing. You know.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah,
So
God.
now after getting, the information from Boston, Mass, right? I want to say remembered in perfection to King Asiatic, who I think he was in Boston, Mass. He was in Boston, Mass, and he returned, right?
Well, King Asiatic, rest in peace, rest in power. He's from Lynn, Mass. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He came. He traveled to Boston. We had rallies from time to time. He came through there, but he's originally from Lynn, Mass. He taught brothers out there, and he has some proficient students that came
Right, but
from.
he's originally from Medina, I think.
He's originally from Medina, indeed,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
my knowledge.
Can
Right.
I can I ask a question?
Go
Yeah.
ahead,
When
God.
peace. When he
Peace.
said like the person got to your the enlightenment got to your heart and mind, are you speaking in facts in terms of how they orate things, how they taught the frequency, how they invoke a certain emotion, they gave proper examples, how they convey the teachings? Because some people could teach, it doesn't reach like the students, you know what I'm saying? But depending on the person's delivery, that's how they got to you with the teachings.
Yeah. See, like when I first got knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and I heard it and stuff like that. I mean, to be honest, if you want to go really far, before I even met my educated brother who first gave me mathematics, a sister told me I was God. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, what? And I was with her brother. Me and her brother had problems, and he got transferred to my school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why the fuck this nigga get you transferred to my school? I said, no, hold on. And we ended up getting cool. You know what I mean? I ain't go through the whole story, but we ended up getting cool. Awesome. Put it like this. This is how we got cool. We walking. I forgot my ball. We all playing ball. Everybody there, people acting like, oh, there's gonna be a fight, saying like abstract, subliminal. We all walking. I forgot my ball. Oh shoot, I forgot my ball at the thing. Yo, can y'all
Mm-hmm.
walk back with me? They was like, nah, we already walked too far. He said, I'll walk back with you. I
Wow.
said, in my head, in my mind, I said, okay, if we get into a physical, nobody gonna know, win, lose, or draw. It's just me and him, whatever. Through that
Mm-hmm.
walk, we got cool. His sister had mathematics. So now his sister said, you God. I said, um, I said, where you get that from? Something like that, right? So she said, well, I'm the earth. I can only tell you unrehearsed. Yo, she said, God. She said, I'm the earth. I can only tell you but so much. If you want to know, you got to talk to God himself. So I'm thinking I'm going to pull her card. I said, I looked at Divine. I looked at, my her brother, who once, he didn't have a righteous name at the time. I looked at him and I was like, what's his number? Like thinking like, you saying, God, what's his number? And she said, you got a pen? And I said, oh shit. So in my head, I was like, all right, I took the number down, boom, I called him. And then he started building. As he's building on the phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was really thinking, we all think it's because we didn't really know, so we were striving to know. We all looking for a savior. We didn't even know the savior was ourselves. So I'm over
Mm-hmm.
here. He's talking and stuff like that and building, and I'm sitting down, and he starts saying supreme mathematics. When he says supreme mathematics, I get up in my seat. I'm gonna start pacing, and and he start talking, I'm going to a dictionary, like, let me find out what supreme mathematics is. What he's saying, and I don't see the term supreme mathematics, and I'm like, okay, I'm still listening. So I don't know what this is now. I'm intrigued. I never heard it before. So that happened, and then there was another time where I called him. I said, I'm ready for the first lesson. It was me, the sister who told me I was God, her brother. He had mathematics, and another brother. And the other brother said, hang up the phone. I said, hold on. Yo, God, I'm trying to get up to get that first lesson. He said, you want to meet? I said, okay, boom. We met, boom, and that was it. Um, so them brothers, when all the things that was taught to me in the world, allow me to go more into myself without feeling like I had to latch onto them. And that's a level of emotion of that I never experienced before. See, like they was always telling me God is unseen and God is this, and it's like, okay, well, what's taking so long? But it's like now, okay, a person saying that's you, and you analyzing them, and they're not saying, okay, go in the store and take nothing. They're not saying Go in here and do that. They're not saying nothing funny. Then now you more intrigued because now you want to understand. You want to understand more. So that's what it was. When I say mind and heart, it's because they allowed me to. I wouldn't have listened. I wouldn't have listened because it would have been like, okay, well, the world already told me what they need to tell me about who and what God is, how he need to be and what. So I don't need to listen like that. It's more, I can have an emotion. I can have this thing like I don't care. But now, I can't not care no more. So that was it. I had to. What was I gonna at that point? What was I gonna do? She told me I'm God, and he said what he's saying, and every time he built right. He didn't say nothing. He didn't build with no ego. He didn't. I would analyze it. He didn't say nothing to make it seem as if like he was better. He told me, he said, ain't nothing greater to you. You see the equal to or less than. He said that's mathematics. So he, like those things. That's what got to my heart. Yeah, go back to frequency because it's frequently here, meaning that it's an emotion that never leaves. Why? It had to be something that was that real. I always thought about how the brothers remember the things the father told them. I wanted to ask my man that was with the father. I didn't get to ask him that question, but I started realizing I can see why I didn't ask him the question. I got the answer, so I didn't ask him. The
Yeah.
truth is easy to remember, God. You know, it's very easy to remember, God. When it's there, it's in your mind. You know, the wise man said, "What the mind is many individuals need development, or many individuals now developing." Once you know that, it's very hard to
Say that
move.
again, God. Repeat that.
Repeat what, God?
The mind is many individuals. What'd you say?
Need development.
Okay.
But many individuals now developing, God, because you got a mind, I got a mind. If you were a slave to that mind, then therefore you're not gonna be free. And if I'm a slave to myself, I'm not gonna be free. That's the four in the four. Culture freedom. Meaning if we use our minds in a sense of being peaceful and harmonious, then we're gonna build and elevate. This is why you can see there's problems today. People are telling lies, stealing is what I mean. They telling lies, they just doing things that just they don't have to do. Like if you don't really understand, some people may say, "Oh, the father said this, the father said that," and some people may say, um, "We don't like people saying the father said this and father said that because brothers weren't there." The understanding being understood being has to say you have to understand why a person's saying the father said this because they want to keep something alive. Then you have to understand the level of not stretching something, but some people don't understand that. When we were younger and have knowledge, but man, I had 10, 20 bitches in it. Like we that's what some people come from. So certain things have to be eliminated. And that's why I'd be like, okay, God, well, that's why we build to be born. It's not about nothing else. And it's cool. I like people saying they was around brothers. I like he was around this firstborn. I like that. I was around certain brothers too. I just don't really, get the names too much or But at the end of the day, yeah, I was around brothers. You know what I mean? And you know, and the thing about it is, I know that them brothers wasn't just trying to say something just to make themselves look good either. And some brothers are vocal about that. So if
Indeed.
you thought they were saying some stuff that was cool, like they wouldn't want you around them. Brothers know what I'm talking about. Kick you out the house and all that. You like being cool and brothers got the music on. You want to talk with man. I mean, you got a lot on your mind, man. Go for a walk. Brothers wasn't with all that. It was about doing the knowledge. The world already had their chance. Okay, we're doing it. No, distraction. Distraction has to be cut off. Certain brothers were doing certain things so they can eliminate the distraction. That's why. So like when it comes to mind and heart, you know, I I could have just said knowledge, understanding. Like I could have just been like knowledge, understanding. Because those are planes of energy, mental, emotional. Those are planes of energy. I could have said that because some people are so emotionally crushed that the recovery stage is slowed down. There's a degree that talk about that many recover, but they were not physically, but only mentally dead. So that mindset, you know what I mean? It's like that was like the everything, you know what I mean? Like to be able to see that was to be able to get into the functions of everything when you deal with the mind and heart. That's what we talk about when we refer to law world manifest. You might hear people say law world manifest. That's
Mhm.
what that relates to. That relates to all the functions internally too. Why I say that? Because a person can tell you anything. Oh yeah, man, 360-degree radiance go, and you be like, oh wow. Allah will manifest. It's an internal thing. It's it relates to like what they call it, the universal justice, which is a self-balancing scale. It relates to internal functions. Even when, like, say there was plastic surgery to exist, it would penetrate through that. The mathematics penetrate through that. Our mathematics be able to go in time. That's why when certain brothers press too much, but you wasn't there. You can say I wasn't there, but then you're gonna say you was there. You were the original man. You was there in the form of gases and radiation, whatever form back then, or whatever thought process or whatever form you say you was back then. So now, God, our mathematics allow us to go anywhere in time, and really, there's nobody can dictate our mathematics but us. So that's the dangerous part too. But it's a beautiful thing once the law's on the scene.
Now, I want to ask a question about the social climate in Boston, Mass, around 97, and the first in Mecca in 97. Of course, we have the law school in Boston, and there was a social climate in Mecca, and just now why, in 97 around that time. And from what I could recall, I could build on that. Um, um, however, this podcast for today is about you. So I want to know what was the social climate in general. Let's start off with that in Boston, Mass in 97.
Peace. That's peace, God. That's peace question. So a lot of it was houses, for one, right? A lot of it was houses, and that's how brothers knew who's who. We would share each other's knowledge. A lot of certain sayings that we would say, like, oh yeah, that came from this God. We don't know. That's one. Then they had the New World Security Building that was on Warren Street, in Roxbury, Mass, and that was right around the corner from where brothers called the God Body Block. So you had guards up there, boom, and then you had brothers that was going to the New World Security. So that was that. That was the main thing. But besides that, it was houses and it was parks. They had Monroe Park, what they call Paradise Park. Peace, somebody. They had Paradise Park, and then they had other places like that, but mainly houses. Yeah, God. And the New World Security Building on Warren.
And then
Yep.
how would that happen? Like, how would y'all, first off, before I go into that, as far as the social climate, meaning also, like, what is it like out there in Boston, Mass? Is it like a racial situation where it's like Caucasians and black folk going back and forth? There's racial tension. Is that what goes on in Boston, Mass? How is it out there, especially in 97?
In '97, there wasn't no racial tension. There was groups coming out because you had the music, you had Wu-Tang, you had that. So you had different groups that was coming out. You had uh you know uh the Malachi, you had the Mormons, you had different people that was coming out. So it was more or less like brothers was going out there shopping, few brothers going out there shopping their swords and seeing how real this was. Um, there wasn't no racial tension. It was more tension amongst knowledge. To be honest with you, it was like there wasn't no racial tension back then. I mean, there was a point in Boston back, what I'm saying, brothers could, in certain neighborhoods and stuff like that. But in '97, nah, it wasn't like that. It was more the hip hop scene was going on. And brothers was out there sharpening their swords. That's why when RZA came with that record, when he said it's born, young lords, raise your swords. I know a few of us was like, oh shit, because that's what we was doing. That's what we was doing. Like that's what it was. It wasn't about, you know what I mean? Like we was going into everywhere. To be honest with you, God, we was like bombing everybody. I'm not even gonna. We was bombing because we want to make sure it worked. That's what it was. We just wanted. It wasn't about bombing them like yo. It was just about people was trying to play it light. Some people when we was like, we gonna show you something. Watch this, and then they wouldn't. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. But it was like it shouldn't have to take that. It shouldn't have to take me saying, yo, man, show me where your God is right now. You shouldn't have to take me saying, well, where's your God at? You know what I'm saying? Like it shouldn't have to take none of that. But there was certain things that we had to do. I think that was more you know, because Boston is so special with history. You had Farrakhan, you had different brothers that went through there. Roxbury, there's a lot of history that of Boston, Martin Luther King, and brothers that went through there. That there was a lot of challenges with knowledge. Malcolm X. There was a lot of challenges with knowledge as far as it wasn't more or less the racial thing in '97. At that time, was brothers had knowledge, and it was like, let me see what's what. Oh, I'm from this house. I'm from this house. I'm from that house. Yeah, God, that's what that was.
So it was like basically like the what are the Yorkians? The I call them no disrespect. No,
Malachi
No,
Yorkians,
Nuwapian.
the Nuwapians,
Malachi,
yeah, the Nuwapians, the
the
Nuwapians,
Wabians.
yeah.
I mean, put like this. That was another thing too, because they went through a lot. I mean, I'm not trying to make it a whole, but they just went through a lot of names. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
at one
Yeah.
time it was Ansars, one time it was something else. I remember.
Nubian Islamic.
Yeah, they went through mad names. And it was just like it was cool. To be honest with you, I think listen. I think a lot of brothers. It's not about the knowledge; it's the application. It's just like this. I was around brothers, right? Yelling didn't make you right, and that was the main thing, you know. And they was with the father, and it was like, so when people like, oh, it's like nobody, come on, man. And people be getting at the rally. Some people be getting screaming. I'm sitting there watching the rally, like, wow, this is amazing. They screaming, and they're not really saying much. They're like, you know, I was there. Well, I'm here too. You know, like some brothers, man. I'm telling you, like there was brothers that back in the day, a lot of vocal stuff wouldn't have been as vocal. It'd been more structured. It's cool to be vocal. Some brothers don't like that. Why does nigga gotta talk? No, it's cool to talk. It's just about effective communication, God. Effective communication is gonna rule the day. Other than that, we're not dealing with the 12 Jews right. The 12 Jews ain't just knowledge. People just think it's just like that. That's a medical system too, God. You look at the neurological knowledge. You look at the endocrine, the wisdom, the communication. People's communication's off. Some women's communication's off. They start growing hormones in hair and shit like that. And people don't understand it. They think it's just, yeah, everything is real, God.
Okay. So now, so we spoke about. So it was just basically like different groups, and y'all had the Hebrew Israelites out there.
Yeah, they were out there. Uh, yeah, they were out there too. They weren't really out there as much. Not, you know what I mean? Like there was different groups. Like they had them. You had uh who else you had? You had the Mormons. You had them. Who else was there in '97? Joe. Yeah, but though they wasn't really. They was the Mormons tried their hand. They didn't. Anyway, I mean, they were there, but it wasn't like I don't remember. I remember more I remember more the Nuwabians more. You know what I'm saying? I remember more of them then. You know what I mean? You see them now though. You see a few of them out there in
Oh, right
Boston.
now still.
Yeah, you see them out there. They over there in Mattapan Square. They be out there doing their thing.
Now, so after that, right?
Yeah.
So now we know kind of how the social climate was like, just but as far as like now, why we had like a conscious hub. The conscious hub was 125th Street. You had Sinetta across the street from the Apollo, and you had the 5% Nation right there. And then right, what more going more uptown, and then right across from over there, you got the Mos 7, right? The Mos 7, right? Mos number 7. And so like, and then you had up the block over here, on what's that? Lenox Avenue, you had the Hebrew Israelites sometimes.
Yeah, towards Fifth.
Right. So like 125th Street is like a conscious quote unquote hub, right? So now what would be Boston Mass's hub, where they have like incense out, they got tables out, the guards are there, they got maybe Nation of Islam out there, etc.
Well, you got a couple places. You know what I mean? You got one. I mean, you can say more than a couple, but I'll say a couple main ones. We'll say Dudley or Nubian Square. You know what I mean? Dudley Station, Nubian Square, or we'll say Grove Hall. You know what I'm saying? Grove Hall. That's where Mosque 11 is. So then you got that, like I said. Then you got guards that was right down the street, a whole block. And like actually, when I was 15, I used to go with them like this: "Peace to the guards," and guards would start coming. Guards come down. Word is bond. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's I would say that those are the two main places. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Okay. Now, so in Mecca, there's the Allah school.
Yep.
In Medina, there was a school there before. There's no longer a school there. And Boston, Mass, did you brothers and sisters have a school there?
Don't quote me on that. If there was a school there, I know brothers was talking about something, and don't quote me if that was in Mecca, Mass, or if that was out here back in the 70s. Don't quote me on it. Yet we had the new world, like I said, we had the new world security, and we had houses. Them houses was the issue, man. Because them houses was like God's was there. We didn't, imagine you getting knowledge and you just like, God's is there and you at a house and you walk in there and it's 10, 15 guards all just doing the knowledge. You're not even thinking about, yo, man, the top of the roof should be more point. Like we're not even, we was on it. Like brothers found places like that.
Mm.
And brothers would come out too. Please.
Right. So you saying that these houses were not abandoned houses. These just regular
Nope.
houses.
Nope. These are brothers that own these houses. These are guards that own these houses, God. Like, and that's the thing. These are quote unquote elder guards that own these houses. And brothers will go there. So you be like, oh, you was taught by this guard? And we would know because one guard knew one guard. Even the brother who handed me mathematics, brothers that was with the fault, they knew him because he was teaching so much. They heard of him. They didn't even tell me that. They didn't really tell. I found out through other people that knew him in a certain way, and the respect for him was like. So it was like there was respect, but I earned it every way because I was just like, okay, that was that, and then I met them brothers, and then that way, and it was like brothers didn't like too much talking. That's what it was. I'm only talking now because I'm just that's what it got to be. Be honest with you, but at the end of the day, brothers wasn't with all that too much talking. I seen brothers get kicked out the house for whispering. Word is bond, like
Mm.
a whole bunch of guards, and God was building, and son said, yo, he said, oh, you got a cigarette. God said, get out. He said, God, I don't care. Get the. And son looked at me and I because in my mind, I'm like, yo, I know better. And them brothers, like, for real, they was, because they wanted you to go in, master law in. That's what the father was on, being a man, master law in. You talking about the mind. If you look at the M in mind, you took out M, master, you in to go in. The more in you go, the more intel you do with yourself, the more. So brothers wanted to be more proficient. They wanted brothers to be proficient with, what I'm saying, with their mathematics by going more in and then bringing out the best. So they was real strict on that. And my man who was with the father told me that the father was very serious about education. So I can see how it all relates. They was not playing. You was doing this extra talking. They was like, man, go for what? This brother got a lot. This brother got a lot in his mind, man. You know,
Mm.
he's too. Or they be like, he's too cool to learn.
Mm.
Talking is bad lesson.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. All right. So now that taking us through that time period in '97, would you say from the period of '97 to, let's say, 2005, in Boston, Mass, um, the the amount of gods and earths, did
Mhm.
it change? Did it increase? Did it decrease?
It increased. It's just that everybody ain't coming around. Got it?
Mhm. Yeah.
It increased. It's just everybody. So like, you ain't gonna go there and see mad gods on the thing right now. You ain't gonna see it like that. It increases as far as a lot of people are aware with the knowledge, and they have the knowledge. When you say increase, as far as increasing that same frequency, that frequency is not the same no more. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. What happens is sometimes every few years somebody come on the scene and then brothers get riled up. They might want to bomb the motherfucker, or the brother come on the scene, he got something to say, and they all come around it, and then they come, and then it becomes so. It's almost if like this, God, and not to over talk that, but it's almost if to say when you look at the frequency in '97 to now, I would be like, damn, what happened? It's not enough drive enough to say, damn, what happened to the frequency? Even if it ain't like '97, because some brothers weren't there and they feel like this. like this thing. You don't have to feel an outcast. Now I know that we connected. You know. At the end of the day, it's the frequency. It's not the same no more. So brothers may agree, brothers may disagree. Um, at the end of the day, it's like this. On the proof is in the pudding, and the thing about it is, it ain't like if I sit on the bus, I'm gonna hear brother just building every time. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if I walk down the street, I'm hearing brother peace. Oh shit, I hear oh shit. I didn't say peace. Man, they saying peace down the street now. Like that's what I'm talking about. Increase. You know, I don't do the whole like hush money thing. Like, oh man, it increased. Man, this brothers all over the 5%. Like that. That's cool. A lot of people are aware. They're aware of the knowledge. Yeah, a lot of them. You go to prison, the COs know about the knowledge too. They got the mathematics too. Everybody. Oh, hey, watch this. One knowledge. Remember that next one. They can get that. People can do that. You know, like somebody parrot can. People can do that. That's. Would you call that increase? So I say more people are aware, but their frequency hasn't increased.
Mm.
The frequency hasn't increased, God. It's about frequency because listen, right? Even though we wasn't in the 60s when it was really going like hard with it, like when they had a fight, it was like, man, I gotta know these knowledge because they trying to take everything from me. Back in the day, they burnt our libraries. We made a declaration we was gonna get this on our brains so they couldn't take it from us. They don't have that drive no more like that. So it's become, oh yeah, I didn't get the degree, God. Hey, and long his own good time, God. Now they're using sayings in the lessons to minimize their growth and development, stunt their growth and development. The frequency is not there. The social climate has changed. It's like what's it called? Like a bottleneck. Like we going through some stuff right now, man. Some low tide right now.
Capitalism. All thanks to capitalism.
Yeah, at the end of the day, though, you gotta remember, it's mind over matter. It's
Of
mind and
course.
matter coming together too. So we're not supposed to really pay too much mind into those kind of matters. We're supposed to build above that negative equality.
Nah, I
That
agree with you. I agree
no,
with
but
you.
I'm only saying that because the moment we don't do that, that's what
Yeah.
consumes us, God. The
Yeah.
moment we don't, because the mind is moving so fast that the moment we don't think, and the planet is, the moment we don't draw the information up, it starts to consume us. You know, so
Yeah.
the social
As you
climate change is raw because for me, it's like a flicker of a light, God. It's more or less like there's some brothers. I be like, man, they be seeming angry, but I'm like, oh no, they ain't angry. They just need to express themselves. They need to express themselves, and they need the right medium to express themselves. And they need to understand sometimes patience. You don't need like my man said yesterday. I was building him, and he said something. I said, God, he said, God, but I didn't want to forget it. I said, no, but that's the thing. That's going to strengthen your mind. Doing the knowledge, that's what strengthens my mind because then it become what you remember to say is what's needed to be said. Yeah, God.
Mhm, mhm. So now that you said that the frequency, meaning pretty much like the energy, right, has changed, it's lessened. However, there are more people though. There's more of a population of people who know of the knowledge, so to speak, right?
Yeah,
Now, you said that we're going through a interesting time. Paraphrasing what you said, but we're
yeah.
going through an interesting time right now, and is I would say from what you just explained and what I know is because uh how I see it is because the discipline is not like it was back in the days where you had to know certain things. You know what I'm saying? So what would be a way to change that right now where we're dealing with a lot of distractions, social media, etc. And
That's a peace.
everybody want to be rich now.
That's a peace question, God. Um, One of the things is that's your music playing, God, like that.
Now, Cypher.
Do that that that's you doing that.
Ah, that's for real? That's coming on? Is it on
Yeah,
now?
the whole time I just thought you was doing it for a minute, but I was like, oh, let me say something for a second, God. You know what I mean? Yeah, the whole time I was going with you. I was going with it, God. Like,
That was on that whole time?
I mean, not the whole time, but for a good 5 minutes, I was rocking. Like, oh, okay,
Oh,
yeah, I was just okay, sound travel. But I was just, I just acknowledged it for a second, only because, it gave me a chance to kind of pick up some. So you saying as far as the discipline, right? So the thing about it is, right? My thing is, I would start asking brothers, because when you look at the 25th letter in the alphabet, why? That's a question. But when you ask that question, it can move you in one direction, it can move you to another direction. 2 and a 5 is a 7. So it can bring you to a high level of thinking, or it can bring you to a suppressed level of thinking because you become powerless. Oh, why does it get, So what I'm saying is this. My question, my answer is, I would start mainly people. I would start asking them like the interest in knowledge, like as far as what is it about knowledge that they want to do for themselves and for the people. Like when I first was building with certain brothers I came at them differently, but certain brothers, and it was all genuine, but I would ask them things like, let me ask you a question. If you had a way to like help the world in a way, in a positive way in yourself, would you be about that? Would you be on it? And some, yeah, they may not, of course, they're not going to know what that means because it's too broad of a question. That's cool. That's all right. I want the, yeah. And inquisitiveness. But that inquisitiveness right there allowed me to make knowledge born and be like, okay, well, it's more of a thrill. Like a lot of people have a thrill. That's why they're distracted. They just have a thrill for too many things. And we just got to understand this in importance while we're here. Our parents gave us life. We got to give life back. So you got to understand, what is that? Yo, is that really feeding? Is that really feeding the cause? Like for me, my drive was like, I'm like, yo, I've been lied to for a long time. They told me God's coming, like where he at, like kind of thing, Like that was my thing. So some people don't really deal with a mystery God. They say. They say, you say black man's God, like, yeah, I know the black man's God. But once again, to go back to frequency. So I'll be like, well, what is it that you striving to do with this knowledge? Like people got to engage more. Like today's mathematics, like how you say today's mathematics, that's cool. But sometimes today's mathematics be like, yo, man, let's go outside at the guard hour. That's today's mathematics. At 7:00, everybody got to go outside. All the guards, everybody got knowledge. All the earths, everybody got knowledge. We're going outside at 7:00 and make knowledge born and teach somebody. And then you'll start seeing motherfuckers across the street. Oh shit, that's our guard over there. Oh, da 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 da. Damn, okay, now it's good. I'm gonna say the degrees say destroy the devil in one day without falling a victim to the devil's civilization. Otherwise, the strong proof of laws God always has and always will be. If that's your will, you know what I mean? Then So like, it's more or less like the thrill of it. Like I feel good with Islam. That's why we say Islam in self lives on mathematics. Some people don't like that. How you gonna do that with Islam? Because it means peace. So in self lives on mathematics. I know that mathematically, you have a science that's mathematics, and you combine righteousness with that, then you're gonna get peace out there. You're not gonna get no devil's mathematics and subtraction division. I can say in self lives on mathematics and get peace out there. I don't know about the next person. The next person might say in self live on mathematics, and I might get destroyed out there. That's not Islam, though. See, Islam is being able to make it, make it right. That's what it is. It's establishing the truth, and that relates to knowledge, wisdom, understanding, sun, moon, and stars, man, woman, and child. And there's really no way to escape that. That's why it's like when brothers be, like the yelling and this and that's like, yo, you don't have to do that, bro. You don't have to, you don't got to be like that. I get it, man. You have you know what, brother? I'm gonna tell you another one. Just because brothers, like, their thing was this: if you so tough, won't you teach somebody? Like brothers with the father, if you so tough, won't you teach somebody? So all that husky shit, all that crazy stuff. Part of my language, God. I don't know if all that crazy stuff, it go out the window. Now you got to bring somebody to the cipher. Some brothers say one teach nine. And some brothers that was around with the father, they may say one teach nine. And some brothers that was around with the father say somebody got to bring one. You got to at least bring one. You got to equalize your magnetic with at least one. Don't put no pressure on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Just teach it. You got it. You love it, right? Have somebody else love it too. So that's the equality. That's the social thing. Because the degrees talk about why does devil keep our own people apart from their social equality. So let's go back into sharing things. And, some people, everybody got something, God. Everybody got something. You know what I mean? Some people get angry for certain reasons. And everybody, it's all right, you know what I mean? To a degree. You just gotta transfer the energy. That's all it is.
Indeed.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
now, for us to change this climate now with all of these distractions, what would you say the best thing to do? Should you just said it basically.
Look,
Teach
right?
one. Don't put, teach one. Teach one at a time.
You got to get out there. You got, saying peace. You got to get out there. We might have to build, like I said, it might become thing. Hey, man, at 7 o'clock, everybody got to go outside and build. Not on some religious stuff, but let's just try something. Let's just try going out there and striving to teach somebody. Get saying peace and building. It gets be like, yo, peace. You know what I mean? Peace, how's your day? And gets engaged in some kind of build in the most comfortable way possible. Because some people don't want you approaching them too. We get that, especially the times. But we also have to remember that there was a certain level that's built to kind of hinder us from getting with each other. So we got to understand that too. Yeah, okay, yeah, 6 feet, 10 feet, whatever they were saying. Yeah, there's a level of that, but then there's a level of, we've been divided for too long too, man. Nobody see that? So it become mind and matter coming together. Like we see what's going on. We kind of already know what's going on. It's just a matter of, coming together. And it's like, what do brothers want to do? Because sometimes it'd be like, I want to be the one to say it. And I want to say, I appreciate y'all having me on this because, to be honest with you, everybody got something to say.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got something to say. You know what I mean? It's just that where we directing it to, God.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Where we directing it to. There's people that got questions. There's people that don't really understand and see what's going on. And the people that looking for a savior. They don't understand the savior is themselves. They got to be able to say, okay, well, like I said, right? Some people are like, oh yeah, you wasn't there. So what we talking about atoms that was talking about all kinds of stuff that was there. Our mathematics can take us anywhere. We have to stop limiting our minds to be like, you wasn't there, God. No, it's frequency. Go ahead, tell me. What you say? Because the thing about it is this. Like if I say the Father said something, or this person, or anybody said something, it's cool. I'm looking at it. Why are you saying it? Are you using it for a crutch to talk trash? Then it's a problem. You already said his name in vain anyway, so it don't even matter. So it's just, I want you to, go ahead with the Father, because I want to know everything. I want to get it all out. I want to know what's going on. Talk about the Father. I want to talk about it, man. What the Father told, tell the, nah, go ahead, man. Let me hear it. I don't, okay. My man told me in certain ways, and certain brothers told things in certain ways. I'm telling y'all things in certain ways because it's dealing with frequency. So when y'all hear it, y'all can be able to understand in certain ways. Understanding got to be understood.
Mm-hmm.
See? Otherwise, you're going to freeze because not understanding the wisdom. That's the mind that they can't see when the sun draws the water up. That's mind, meaning we rise above that, those matters. Yet our minds is enough, even though we can't see our minds enough, it's the frequency. We know the knowledge, and we know that it's a scientific and mathematical process. Once we know that, and once we know it's internal, and once we know Allah will manifest, not just saying Allah will manifest, but we know Allah will manifest mean if I think negative about the right person, that's destructive. If I think negative about anything, that's destructive. The Father, listen, one thing the Father was like, listen, if a man is wrong, you don't got to go against that man if he's wrong. If that man is wrong, he going against his own what? Self.
Mm-hmm.
So now what? If I fall victim to him, guess what I did? I fell victim to the devil's civilization.
Right.
So my duty is to teach him. My duty is to make him love me twice as much as he might want to hurt me or hurt himself, dog. That's the science. That's why I got mad loving me, man. People be faking love. See, we say, like, the alphabet, love is knowledge, wisdom. L love for the right. People fake that. People love you, but they're not teaching. Teach them. If you got love for them, teach them. That's why some brothers, that it was, there was a little tension. Some brothers say, you know what? Yeah, peace. You know why? Because I know they like children. They love the babies. They teaching the babies. Fuck, I'm gonna do with I'm gonna get mad? No, that's what I'm here for. Yo, come on, man. People be doing too much, man. And then after something happened, they be like, "Oh man, I remember." No, I want to respect. I want to see the best in the man. It's just certain things just can't be allowed because it's gonna be a hindrance for the next generation. That's why when certain things that brothers trying to take out, I realize those certain principles they try to tamper with are certain things that the people need a lot of right now. They need a lot of freedom. They need a lot of refinement. They need that. And then when you had people that was with the Father that saying it, you're like, okay, well, they saying it too. They put their stamp on it. So if you want to look at it from a street level, academic level, if they saying it, I'm with it. Don't say it when they're not here no more. Don't say no other stuff when they're not here. Because now I'm looking at it like you want them people that when the dude's bullying you, now you got a whole lot to say. And you want to bully everybody I know psychology to a degree. Because, see, our lessons help our lessons unlock psychology. That's why we have so much to say about it, because it's a it's a psyche of man, woman, and child being able to correct that. So it is a psychology, and it's remember,
Mhm.
there's questions and answers. And remember how he did it. Farad is asking the questions. The teacher's asking the student. Usually, a student be like, "Hey, no, it's the teacher to see what he learned and see." Some people, "Oh, man, lost it." Man, that's how he answered it. Okay, that's how he answered it. That's how it was answered. Those
Now I want
questions.
to rewind, God. Pardon me. I don't mean to cut
Please,
you.
God.
Wisdom. Now you said that what we deal with as far as the teachings is a lot psychological, right? So can you break
Yep.
that down?
Well, the science of life is a science of the original man, woman, and child, and the things that they went through in the wilderness of North America, the trials and tribulations, the mistreatment, of stripping them from a knowledge to make them love or eat the wrong foods, and actually, you know, um, love this love this man, or go to this man for guidance or some kind of like knowledge, information, when it's the same person that was misleading them. So yeah, God.
Okay, can you elaborate on that a little bit? Because I understand what you're saying, based on the teachings and the lessons. However, the
Because of,
audience
no,
audience don't know the lessons.
science, because it's a science of life. Like we talk about the science of life. You talking about everything is mathematics, and everything deal with a science. So it deals with chemistry, because it deals with the physical properties and chemical properties, how they interact with each other, the relationship between these elements, all these different things is all dealing with sciences, different forms. So when you're dealing with psychology, it's dealing with like the behavior, the mind, and this, that, and the third, and how we. So when you look at certain brothers that take knowledge, that's a piece question too, God. When you take brothers and take knowledge, what they do is it might be an ego thing, because we came from that kind of background where it's easy to fall into this, I can talk this person this way instead of teaching them. It's like a very fine line. So psychology become where, when we say built to be born, I see that as like a psychological thing. It's mathematical, because everything's mathematical, scientific, so we can play it safe. But it's psychological, because then it's like, what does that mean, built to be born, God? Built to be born, yeah. What does that mean? Do I speak to that person and I walk away? Is that built to be born? Or do I build to make sure that person get it? Is that build to be born? I see that build to be born, because build and born is 8 and 9 and 17. What is the meaning of civilization? To me, that can help with civilization. Me just teaching them and just walking away, but making sure that it sticks somehow, some way. I feel like that's a certain way of getting into the mindset. Like, yo, what you really thinking, opposed to me just giving you something like a fly and walking off. Like, I really want you to know what I know, because you might be able to say it better than me anyway. You see what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
that's the science, God. My
Indeed.
mother told me, she said, good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good gets better and your better gets best.
I like that. I like that, God. I
My mother
see
told
I
me that.
see it as being psychological, as well as just for the simple fact that we deal with mathematics, and we take everything from knowledge and then born. So like we pinpoint everything, and we take everything from the root, and we could analyze. It's like the analyzation of everything is like razor sharp or laser sharp, right? So like when we're talking with people, we can analyze exactly where they're coming from based on their wisdom. You know what I'm saying? After doing
Mm-hmm.
analysis of their wisdom, we get a better understanding of who they are and the culture that they're coming from, and where they're coming from. So like that's how I see it, as being psychological. Basically, you being able to pinpoint everything right and exactly, dealing with the root of what that person is saying and their ways and actions, so that we get a better understanding, because we have the mathematics, the keys to having to I want to say, quote unquote, psychoanalyze people by doing the knowledge to their wisdom.
That's peace, God. I'm rest in peace, right? To the God Najee. It's my man. Rest in peace. He gets
Yeah,
returned.
rest in peace, Najee.
One thing Najee tell me back in the day, he would answer the phone to the school. I'm so upset about that kind of, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because of the fact that, you know what I mean? He knew how to stay away, keep his distance. But when you ask about where's everybody at and the increase and all this good stuff, there's a lot of brothers that keep their way, but they watching from afar. Trust me. They're watching. Because they watching. It's just a lot of stuff's going on, God. They letting things weed out. One thing he told me though, he said, we the doctors. And he always said, we the doctors, God. That's why I was so mad. I called the hospital. You coming to see me? He said something to me, man. I ain't it messed me up, man, because you don't know what you're doing. I'm like, what the like, yo, I'm coming, you know what I mean? Next thing you know, this motherfucker, return 2 days later. I'm like, yo, listen. So, but one thing he said is that we the doctors, God. You know what I'm saying? They the patients, we the doctors. That was one of his main thing, that we the doctors. That's psychology, God. Another brother he said, yo, what do you say, 8 years or something you considered something about the doctor's degree or something, 8 years, something like that. Either or. Our ability to build and destroy and be able to pull the pins out, like we say, out of the baby's head. Because really, it's really dealing with, a pin is just really dealing with a tool of destruction. You pin a person down, pin them down. That's a tool of destruction. They're about a pin. Sometimes people, oh, where's the pin? The pin might be right around. You don't even know the pin. You gotta be careful. It's you gotta be careful, man. People be using certain sayings and it be right around. And what eliminates that is just building. Yo, bringing brothers around, them building. That was a big thing. I told somebody that yesterday. My man, he was like, yo, we got a rally, and it was like 30 guards, man. The Dominican, quote unquote Dominican, so-called Dominican guard, like 30 of them over there, and all these guards is all my age group, around 97. I'm 16, 15, 16, and the guard was like, yo, anybody else got anything to say? My educator was like, yeah, him over here. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? And I'm saying that to say, like, yo, God, brothers had to get involved, God. You couldn't have the knowledge and not build on it. Knowledge is made born through wisdom. You have to manifest the wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it is. And then after you get 120, you have to go teach somewhere. So that's what I did. He said, go teach in the projects. I said, God, there's really knowledge in the projects. He said, yeah, but not out here, though. I said, oh, man. So that's what I did. I got brothers right here that, that they got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they was around brothers who was with the father too. And they know. And they ain't even on the scene. Some brothers try to be like, oh, we got rid of all of them. No, they're still brothers. They right here in the room right now. They connected, and they've been to their brother's house. They know the frequency and the energy. Brothers, they know. Like, all right, prime example. That's why I don't think negative about nobody. I would just call them and build with them, because I know there's a level of the eighth element is oxygen. So I know that I'm not breathing, inhaling, exhaling with that energy. I'm not doing it. I let them do it and then start showing on their skin. Yeah, God. That's when you look at the universal flag, the 8 points. Yeah, it's real, God. It's real.
Yeah, that's
Everything is a science, God. It's a science. There's a science to everything in life, whether we realize it or not. So, like, if you so like, say, like, I heard this before, right? So, like, say you put babies in the woods or something like that, they ain't gonna start praying to no mystery God. They're gonna, look for survival. So that's what it is. There's science to everything. Just because you look at the clouds and don't understand, you're like, oh, the God, where you coming down? Just because you don't understand it, that's your business. That's a personal thing. I get it, but that don't mean that that's what it is. Because if that's the case, then what's going on? Talk to me. Because they ain't no mystery God telling me this. Because if they was, I wouldn't be saying this. My love, like, remember Neo in the Matrix? Your lips are closed. Nah, God. That's why when on the tape, when they talk about the tape with the father say ain't nobody. He say ain't nobody telling me to tell you this. But brothers didn't get it. He's basically saying I'm a law, because the law is self-created. Ain't nobody telling me to tell you this. Meaning, where's it coming from? Where's it going? Where's it? Where's it? Listen, if that mystery God came down right now, you know what I say? What took you so long?
Yeah. On that note, we're gonna cut out. Yo,
Indeed.
peace to the God.
Peace to the God. I appreciate y'all.
Peace, salute, man.
God.
Peace.
Yo, peace to the gods in the background. Peace. Indeed, God. Peace to the gods and the
Peace, somebody.
earth. And
I appreciate that too,
another
God. You know
episode. I wanted to make sure I brought the gods back on the platform. I wanted to make sure I did that.
That's
And
peace.
here we are.
Today's my degree day. That's a great present, God. That's beautiful, God. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, happy solo, man.
That's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that. And y'all questions was y'all questions was on point. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Peace to the gods.
Peace,
Peace.
peace, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Peace
Anytime.
to God.
Peace,
Peace.
almighty. Peace.